welcome back to Rating the List, where we review, discuss, and reimagine popular movie lists objectively. We're your hosts. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Brad, and on this episode we'll be exploring number 18 from Sports Illustrated's The 50 Greatest Sports Movies of All Time.
All right, number 18 is Caddyshack, released in 1980, directed by Harold Ramis, starring Chevy Chase, Rodney Dangerfield, and Bill Murray.
Young caddy Danny Noonan, trying to make his way in the world, gets thrust into a power struggle between Judge Smalls and construction magnate Al Zervik. Danny is forced to decide on trying to be a part of the judge's upper crust life or being true to his blue-collar roots.
Are you going to talk about it?
I was going to let you start.
Okay, I know that everybody loves this movie, and I totally understand. There are some really funny parts in it, but as a whole, it just does not hold up for me at all. It's really another movie with no plot.
It's pretty weak plot.
It's a very weak plot. It's a little misogynistic. Lots of 80s comedies I think were, but this one was, it's pretty bad. No real plot. There are some iconic comedic scenes in it.
This movie is one of the most quotable comedies.
Yeah, I mean, I just quoted it yesterday to my sister because we watched it recently.
Like Rodney Dangerfield is just playing Rodney Dangerfield, and he's just like, I mean, everything he says is just like, you're just cracking up.
Well, fun fact, Rodney Dangerfield, Bill Murray, and Chevy Chase were only supposed to be making cameos in this movie.
Right.
And because they were so good at their improv and their comedic timing, they decided to have bigger parts for them in the movie, which was pretty upsetting for a lot of the other cast members in the movie.
Guess what, guys? You weren't a comic legend, so sorry.
Yeah.
And Bill Murray, I mean, especially because his everything about he's basically improving his entire performance. Mm-hmm. He's just every time you see him on screen, he's basically making that up on the go.
Yeah, and I think with Bill Murray's character, parts of that was really funny, but then it gets
funny.
old.
Well, it's funny, but it also doesn't really drive the plot much. His character doesn't do the only purpose his character really has in the entire story is the stuff with the gopher.
Yeah, he's trying to kill this gopher that his boss asked him to kill, and it just escalates. He tries.
Yeah, it's basically this Cold War between him and the gopher.
Yeah.
Who's just starting to destroy the golf course.
And it ends in dynamite, basically. Which
is pretty epic.
Yeah. As you all know from watching these movies, or listening to our dialogue and watching our episodes, you know that I have this theory that there's dude movies. This falls into the category of dude
I would agree.
movie.
This is definitely a dude movie.
This is definitely a dude movie. There are some things, like I said, that made me laugh out loud, that crack me up. Especially a lot of just the one-liners really got me.
Yeah.
But as a whole, it just some of the jokes were just not funny to me, and the whole there's really dumb comedy in it as well, the whole freaking Baby Ruth.
It's supposed to be dumb.
I know, but like I said, dudes. I'm not saying all dudes, but most dudes enjoy that kind of comedy.
I like this one. Sorry.
I'm not. Hey, to each his own. I'm just telling you how I feel about the movie. Lots of 80 cliches. They had this really random pregnancy scare in the middle of it.
What? It doesn't make any sense.
Why did we have that?
Honestly, the whole girlfriend character.
Yeah.
And is she even a girlfriend?
I don't know. Is she a fuck buddy? Like, what
Yeah,
is
like,
she?
yeah, it's hard to like discern exactly what their relationship is, like how serious it is. It doesn't really add anything to the story.
No. And he's clearly attracted to the new girl that's like,
Judge Smale's niece.
yeah, and she doesn't really say anything about it. Like, he oogles her, and she's like, oh, okay. You know?
It's just, yeah.
It's very weird. And, like, the whole pregnancy scare, it's like, then she's like, you know, oh, he's like, you know, I'll be by your side, whatever you decide. And she's like, well, I'm keeping the baby. He's like, oh. I mean, that's kind of horrible. So, I don't know. That kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. Yeah, Bill Murray was great, but the shtick to me gets old.
Yeah, I agree.
There's like that whole part where he's pretending he's golfing is really funny when he's like hitting all the flowers and stuff. That was great. But like
the sequence with him and Chevy Chase was just thrown in there to have a scene with him and Chevy Chase. It does nothing for the movie.
No, it doesn't. A lot of the scenes do nothing for the movie.
Yeah.
You know? And Ted Knight was like, to me, was like thought he was in a completely different movie.
It works though.
It totally works.
It does.
It totally works. I always remember him from Too Close for Comfort, which I loved. And he's great.
He's playing it so straight.
He's so straight. And it's so incredibly funny. One thing that I did like about it was, you know, Rodney Dangerfield comes into this golf club, an elitist, but he's colorful, right? Like he's made he's new money. It's like when you're talking about like country club stuff, you're really talking about old money versus new money. Right. And he really kind of puts Ted Knight's character in his place a lot. Like, you know, you're no better than I am, you know?
Look at this hat. You get a bowl of soup with this hat? Looks good on you though. Like all his, like everything that Rodney Dangerfield does is hilarious.
And a Chevy Chase too. Like some of the things that he says are so random, and you're like, what is he talking about? You know?
Well, his character is such a weirdo.
Yeah, total weirdo. He's like golfing with no shoes on. And...
Well, he's just like he's this like total like rich flake, which
yeah, he is a rich flake, basically.
He's really the only like returning character in the second one.
Oh, really? Yeah. I don't think I saw the second one. I don't know.
Well, they basically replace Rodney Dangerfield with Jackie Mason. That's essentially what happens, and it's like a whole different kind of vibe. It's a different kind of movie.
Yeah, yeah. And it was weird. Like the caddies were just like these. Like, where did they come from? There was, like, 3 guys that were, like, New York.
I know, right?
Yeah, like, New Yorkers. And, like
I think that they're supposed to be in Florida. I think.
Is that where they are?
Well, like, if you're watching, like, the boating scenes, that looks like around Miami to me.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Outside of that, you really don't know where you're at.
You don't. And the main character, the main kid, who has, like, 20 siblings... Danny is like, he's like contemplating, like, should I go to college? What should I do? Yeah. Like, and nobody's giving him any
He has no direction.
Yeah, and nobody's giving him any good advice at all.
No, like he really looks up to Chevy Chase's character, who gives him like no real workable advice.
No.
This guy's such a flake. And he's born like, you know, with a spoon and, silver spoon in his mouth. So he doesn't know any of the struggle that Danny's going through, and you can't relate to him on that level. He likes Danny, and he's cool, and he's just like, but he has nothing to offer him that way.
Mm-mm.
And like everyone else is kind of using him as a pawn here or there, like in their little game, and he's kind of got to like figure shit out for himself.
Yeah. And I think that's what the plot is him
that is what the
making
plot is.
his decision of what he's doing.
That's basically what the plot is.
But, I mean, really. And it's very dated. The movie's
for sure. It's 100% dated.
Very dated. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, even like if you watch Caddyshack 2, which I think came out like just less than 10 years later. It came out in the 80s.
Okay.
I want to say it's like 86, 87, or like just looking at the difference between the two movies, like in terms of how they look, like the clothes and all of that, like it's really like it's just drastically different.
Yeah, Caddyshack 88.
Okay, so like 8 years later, like it feels like it's way later than 8 years later.
Yeah, because Chevy Chase looks way older in this movie.
Yeah, Chevy Chase looks like he did a lot of cocaine between then and
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did.
The reason you watch this is Rodney Dangerfield. I mean,
and Bill Murray, really,
and Bill, like that's why you watch it. And I honestly, the sequence with the priest on the golf course is one of the good. Like it has it like doesn't do anything.
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens, but that's super funny.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah.
I gave this a 70. Jerry gave it a 61. I probably have some nostalgia points in there, most likely, because I really enjoy watching this movie. So the list score is 65.5.
All right. Go ahead, blast me away about Caddyshack in the comments.
You don't even know.
I know. Yeah, so let me know what you think about Caddyshack in the comments. If you'd like to email us directly, please do so at ratingthelist@gmail.com. But I think that's it for now. I'm Jerry.
I'm Brad.
And we're Rating the List. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.